Doesn't matter how you win, it only matters that you win. Phillies 4, Cincinnati 3 as we welcome you to Phillies Postgame Live, presented by our friends at Cure Auto Insurance. Michael Barkan, Ricky Batalico. Wasn't pretty, but it gets you there.
Yeah.
And they were facing a terrible team with a bad pitcher, and they did enough to win.
A bad pitcher. How about 4 guys that did not have an ERA underneath a 5.5? Can you imagine that? And the guy that's at the 5.5 threw 2 scoreless tonight to get there. But I will say this much, 4 for 15 with runners in scoring position.
Correct.
That's something the Phillies got to start pumping up a little bit more. But Edmundo Sosa was special. I would say more on his defensive side. I know he had 3 RBIs in this one, but that came on 2 broken bats. But 3 RBIs and probably the defensive player of the game. I mean, that to me is something to look forward at.
Ladies and gentlemen, back to Cincinnati to check in with one. Ben Davis called tonight's game with Tom McCarthy. Ben, I hate to talk about tonight's game as if it were a loss, because the fact is a win's a win, and the Phillies got one 4-3. But it is concerning to see 4 for 15 with runners in scoring position, is it not?
It is, and 11 left on base. And something I talked to Rob Thomson about earlier today, and also Kevin Long. And Topper said, listen, we're 6th in baseball when it comes to runners in scoring position. He said that's pretty darn good throughout the course of the year. He said there's always going to be ebbs and flows with runners in scoring position. And K. Long's telling his guys, listen, don't get so caught up in the numbers right now. He said we've been pretty darn good throughout the course of the season. Let the media talk about that. I said, yeah, that's what we're for. And he started to laugh. But I said, it is one of those things that sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. It just seems like in the recent series with New York and then tonight, it seems like they get away from their approach a little bit too much, and the swings are way too big, especially with 2 strikes. I would like to see them shorten up from time to time and just put a ball in play. Sometimes they're giving it to you. You might as well go ahead and take it.
Yeah, I saw a lot of chase tonight in the Phillies, which is something that when Rob Thomson took over, you didn't see as much of, with the exception of Castellanos, because he just has that in him to do that. Noah Syndergaard tonight. Ben, the one thing that I'm seeing from this guy is that in his last 2 starts, he started off a little shaky, a little slow, and then he seems to pick it up as the game goes on.
Yeah, he gave up those 2 runs in the 2nd inning, but boy, did he settle down after that. I mean, the pitch count's still under 80 through 7+ innings. He was really, really good. He stayed off barrels. I was very impressed with the location of his fastballs. When he was throwing them, he was down in the zone, or he missed down or off the plate. That's big for him, because I think when he elevates that sinker, obviously it flattens out and it gets hit a little bit hard. But he had 8 hits tonight. Obviously gave up that home run there in the 8th inning, but overall, very happy with the way he spun the baseball tonight. The slider was really good. I liked a couple finishing curveballs that he threw. The changeup was decent. But overall, I was happier tonight with the fastball command than anything else. He was down with that good sinker tonight and obviously induced a lot of weak contact on the ground.
Ben, your thoughts on this is like a what is he doing to me? What were the Reds doing tonight on offense? I mean, just swing after swing after swing. Joey Votto was 0 for 4, and he accounted for 5 outs.
I've never seen that before, Ricky. I mean, his batting average is down to 208. He started the game at 210, but to swing at 4 pitches in a game and to make 5 outs, it's like someone dared him to do it. Honestly, that's what it seemed like to me, because I've never seen that. And we've watched baseball for a lot of years, and that's why I love the game personally, because you really do never know what you're going to see at the ballpark. Great things, bad things, mediocre things, whatever. I've never seen that in my life. Literally, it was like, I bet you can't double dog dare you can't swing at every pitch you see tonight. And he put them all in play. I mean, seriously, he put them all in play and made 5 outs on 4 swings. Hey, the Phillies will take that any day of the week.
Yeah, don't double dog dare us again, man. We'll come out there right now. That's unbelievable. How about this? They geared up to such a degree to play the Mets. They get that Friday night win in 10 innings. They get a 1-run loss against DeGrom on Saturday, and then Sunday it just all goes to hell in a handbasket, unfortunately. Were they just too pumped up, and that's why maybe it was a little bit lackluster tonight?
I wouldn't say so. No, I wouldn't buy that. I just think they were a little over-anxious tonight offensively. We talked about the aggressiveness of the Reds. Well, the Phillies were, I think, uber-aggressive as well. They had some situations I think they let slip by them, and something that they can look for tomorrow. But I wouldn't say it was just like, oh, big Mets, big crowd. everyone cheering and rocking and rolling, and then you come to Cincinnati where there's not as many people here, and it's kind of a letdown. I wouldn't say that. I don't think this team mentally has those letdowns because it's a completely different vibe. I'm telling you, it's a completely different vibe in the clubhouse, the way they interact amongst each other, the coaching staff. These guys are prepared. It just didn't show on the field tonight in all aspects.
They're prepared like Ben Davis is prepared. You're ready to go.
Son of a gun.
You're son of a gun. You're doing jumping jacks between innings. You're doing push-ups between innings. And that's just when you comb your hair, too. All right, we've got to go. But we'll talk to you tomorrow. You know that.
As we digress. Absolutely.
That's what I do. As we talk to Ben in Cincinnati.
All right,
we'll see
guys.
you tomorrow. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. And Rob Thomson asked about it post-game.
So the trade deadline treated you pretty good tonight, didn't it?
Yeah, all those guys
three
played well. Yeah, Sosa, great defense, couple of big hits. Marsh had a base hit, and Syndergaard pitched really good. I mean, his stuff keeps getting better. Throwing all kinds of strikes.
He threw just 16 balls.
Yeah.
What do you attribute that control to?
A good delivery, and just attacking the zone. I don't know what else to tell you, but and he gave up some hits, but he really limited the damage. And we played. Sosa made 2 tremendous plays, and a couple of big double plays during the game. Yeah, it was good.
Has his delivery gotten cleaned up since he got here?
Yeah, they're working on some stuff, and I think he's liking whatever they're working on. So,
Right.
yeah.
When you scored those runs in the third inning, did it kind of feel like a weight lifted a little bit? I mean, you talked before the game about
Yeah.
how good you guys are with runners in scoring position.
Yeah.
Did it kind of feel like it was?
Well, it was going to happen at some point. I mean, you're not going to go the rest of the year without scoring, but yeah. So the Castellanos base hit that got the first run, and then Sosa had the 2-run, all with 2 outs. Yeah, it was good.
How valuable is Robertson's veteran poise?
Tremendous. I mean,
1-run game, and he's just out there.
Yeah.
Firing.
No, he's been in all those big moments, playoffs, World Series, pennant drives. So yeah, and when you have a guy like that, it kind of settles everybody else down too.
Mm-hmm.
I think I asked you this a couple weeks ago, but is Sosa's defense matched up to what you expected? I mean, you know what I mean? Like you knew he was a good defensive player. You saw him in St. Louis, but is it about what you expected? Is it better than you thought? I mean, a couple of those plays tonight were off the charts.
Yeah, well, all the reports were like off the charts.
Yeah.
But we didn't see that type of defense. We saw solid defense, but there wasn't many big plays that he had to make. And we've seen some diving plays and sliding plays here. So to answer your question, I guess it would be it's better than what I had expected.
Right.
Sometimes you use Sir Anthony in the 8th, and you use Robertson in the 9th. Why was that your construction tonight?
Just the left-right stuff, and Salvato's in the middle of that.
Mm-hmm.
And Robbie's actually gotten lefties out better than righties. And then once you get to Sir Anthony, they're all right-handed there. So.
Suppose if Noah doesn't give up that home run in the 8th, you maybe let him run it out. I mean, his pitch count was so low.
Yeah, it was so low. But if he had gotten 1 base runner, we were going.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. He I mean, from probably the 4th inning on, he was in pretty good control of everything, and looked like he was going to mow right through the 8th. But
with those guys in the back end makes the decision easier.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Topper. A couple of things. He talked about
Makes me laugh.
what the coaches are working on with Noah Syndergaard, and he says Syndergaard's buying what they're selling. He's liking some of the changes that they're making.
Well, sometimes when you're a starting pitcher, you've been around a long time, and the one thing that you got to believe is that he was used to throwing 100 miles an hour, and just if you made a little bit of a mistake at 100 miles an hour, it didn't matter. You make a mistake at 94, 95 miles an hour, that's where you get in a little bit of trouble. And I know they're obviously making him throw a lot more sinkers, and sometimes getting the feel for your sinker and knowing where your release point on your sinker, that's half the battle. Once you find that, things change, and maybe switching up a little bit, going to some cutters, some sliders, and then mixing in that curveball to slow things down. And I think he's doing a nice little job of it. It's taking him a little while in game. As we've noticed in his last start, he was slow to get started. This one, same type of thing. But it seems as though once he finds his groove, it's just boom, kind of cruises through everything.
And then Thomson was asked about putting David Robertson in there in high leverage situations. He said he's been in all those big moments, playoffs, World Series, pennant drives. That bodes well for the Phillies. You need a guy like that.
The thing about Robertson, when he was here, obviously he had some issues with injuries. And now he comes back. He's got something to prove. I think there's no doubt in my mind that he's on like a revenge type tour. He's here to show that he wanted to help out the Phillies back then. He's throwing the ball extremely well, and the biggest thing about him is that he will attack hitters. He doesn't let that hitter attack you. He goes and attacks that hitter.
And then finally, Edmundo Sosa. Rob Thomson asked, is he better than what you thought he'd be defensively and at the plate? And he said all the reports were off the charts, but we didn't see this type of defense. To answer your question, he's better than I expected.
Well, that's good.
All right, now let's go to the clubhouse here from Noah Syndergaard and his beautiful shirt.
That was pretty impressive. I mean, your control time, you threw 16 balls. Did you just feel locked in?
Yeah, for the most part, I just feel like this is where I'm supposed to be. I feel like the strides that I've made in 2 rotation turns with Caleb and Cap has been amazing. I've never had more confidence on the mound this year. I think it shows in my stuff and my ability to execute pitches.
What are the adjustments you're working on with those 2 guys? And how do they help you?
Basically, what I was trying to do during my rehab was trying to reinvent myself because I thought I had blown out for a reason, and I thought it was more so like because I was like a powerful, not very mobile guy. So I tried to kind of fit the mold of a hypermobile, like smaller guy's delivery, and it didn't really work for me. But the reason I chose to do that is just because I thought it was more efficient. I thought it was going to make me a better pitcher, but it's just not how I'm built. So we're just kind of focusing on just lifting and moving down the mound as fast as I possibly can and being explosive and trusting my stuff.
How much? Yeah, I think you threw 24 to 28 first pitch strikes. How much is that? Is the confidence? You seem more confident than you were this year, and how much of it is the delivery changes, tweaks, whatever?
Well, I think that's winning. That's the most important part of winning the battle is getting ahead and staying ahead. I didn't really notice that until you mentioned it just now, but it's just something I try to do every start. I think there's a scout that came to my house when I was 17 years old, and he asked me what the most important pitch of baseball is, and I was like, fastball, changeup. He's like, no, strike one. So that's something that I take great pride in.